Squid Game Season 3 has a lot of problems, and I'm not saying that the season was bad, okay? Just let me explain. I'm not the first one to do a video about this. There have been other YouTubers, bigger YouTubers than me, but this is my opinion and the problems that I have personally with Squid Game Season 3, because it has a lot of problems in my opinion. So the first problem I have with Squid Game Season 3 is that throughout the season they kill off almost every main character, and at the end we're left with only Gihan, MG Coin, this guy and Minsu, but those two just get killed anyway. So yeah, the final battle is only between MG Coin and Gihan. Problem number 2, the way Minsu died was really fucking lame. I mean, I wasn't even sad when he died, I was just disappointed. Because back in season 2, Minsu didn't do shit. He was just a coward. He was letting himself be pushed around by Thanos and the others. He didn't even try to save the girl that was his only true friend and that he had a crush on. But in season 3, once he got his hands on Thanos' cross that had all of those pills, let's just call them that because everybody knows that those weren't pills, but yeah, let's just call them that. He took some, and like any other person that starts doing that, he went crazy. He was basically high. He was basically under the influence. But the one thing that I liked about him is that he actually started to, stop being a coward and stop letting people, step on him like that and push him around and stuff like that. He even voted to continue the games instead of stopping them, just to show people that he wasn't a coward anymore. But of course, at the end, when he was out of pills, he didn't have any more pills to take, he went back to being a coward again, and he was also going crazy at the same time, hallucinating and shit.
Mitsu, my brother, I missed you. Help me out here, dude. Mitsu, you need pills, right?
So yeah, he was kinda doomed anyways, but still, I would have loved to see him dying in a more epic way. Like, imagine if when MG Coin tried to kill him and push him off and stuff like that, he actually snapped out of it and dodged and said, no, you're not going to kill me, I'm going to take revenge on every single one of you. And he went crazy and killed every single side character, including player 100. And then the final battle would have been between Minsu, MG Coin and Gihan, and MG Coin and Gihan needed to team up to kill Minsu and stop him because he was just out of control. He just killed every single player just in a few seconds. He was just that out of control. But during the fight, Gihan will try to talk to Minsu, telling him to stop this madness at once, but of course Minsu wouldn't listen and almost succeeded in killing him and the baby. But that was enough time for MG Coin to show up and grab Minsu and jump with him off the pillar, basically sacrificing himself to save Gihan and the baby. That would have been a much more great way of Minsu dying, and even MG Coin. Instead of MG Coin being the villain all this time and him trying to kill his own baby just to get the money, I would rather prefer Minsu snap and just go crazy and him becoming the villain and MG Coin and Gihan having to take him down, and eventually MG Coin sacrifices himself to save Gihan and the baby. That would have been a much more great way of Minsu dying and MG Coin dying as well. Problem number 3, killing of the main character. Now, 456 actually dying was unexpected. I never expected Gihan to die. It didn't really affect me that much in the end. I knew there has to be an ending to his story as well, but I just never expected him to die. Even when he was falling, I didn't believe that he was going to die. I just hoped that the frontman would catch him or something, I don't know. So yeah, him dying, it didn't really affect me that much. It did affect me at the start though when I saw his body, because he was the main character of the Squid Games. He was there with us ever since season 1, and that was pretty much the first time we heard the words player 456 eliminated. Like, that was the first time we heard that. But eventually I stopped caring about him dying because I knew that there was going to be an ending to his story eventually, good or bad. Although it sucks that they had to go with a bad ending instead of the good ending. Like, just imagine if Gihan survived and instead of the frontman looking at a new saleswoman for the American version, it was Gihan instead of the frontman, and she looked back at him and he looked back at her, and that was just like a realization for Gihan. Like, he stopped the games in Korea, but that doesn't mean he fully stopped the games. I really wish that in the future Netflix does a Squid Game What If series just like Disney did with Marvel, because that would be peak. Problem number 4, the detective. I'm not even going to spend that much time on this because the detective was ass in season 3. Like, it took bro 2 fucking seasons to find the island and his brother, and when he finally did, everyone was already dead, including Gihan, and his brother didn't even talk to him. Like, he was screaming, "Inho, why?" and his brother just ignored him. Like, we have been waiting so long for this and this is what we get? Really? I really hate this because he's kinda the reason Gihan ended himself. I mean, not really, but just imagine if he got there in time. If he got there in time, Gihan wouldn't have to end himself because the detective is there to save him. And finally, problem number 5, the ending was ass. I mean, I have seen a lot of people complain about the ending. They just felt like it was just a big ad for Squid Game USA. But at the end of the day, the story of these characters has ended, and what more could you want? I personally think that they were trying to make the audience happy in a way, like, hey, the story of those characters is over, but that doesn't mean Squid Game itself is over. So yeah, these were the problems that I personally had with Squid Game Season 3. Again, I'm not saying that the season was bad, and I'm not hating on the creator for going with the season in this direction. I know that he was under a lot of stress when he was making Squid Game Season 3, and now that it's over, I hope that he can finally rest and just, you know, chill and relax a bit, because he was under a lot of stress when he was making Season 2 and Season 3. But yeah, you have reached the end of this video. I think that's it for this video, to be honest with you all. I don't have anything else to say about Season 3. I enjoyed the season, but I just think it has a lot of problems. And if you enjoyed this video, of course you can always subscribe to my channel and like the video. I'm not going to force you to do that. I can't force you to subscribe, but if you want to support me and, you know, see more of my content, you can always hit that subscribe button. My name is Goldman, and I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.